Hey, look. A documentary called Detrans by PragerU. How wonderful. Thankfully, we have Prager University here to educate the masses. The youth of Florida. Sign the petition to protect kids from harmful transgender ideology. All right, time to watch this. I haven't seen a single thing from this. Very, very excited to just have the worst coverage ever of this topic. Look at the production quality.
Courage. Here, boy. Come here, Courage. There you are. See, this is Courage, and he's going to pull me through. Okay, Courage. All right. Pull me, Courage. Pull. Pull.
I really am sad that I took my voice for granted. Like, I didn't just take it for granted. I hated it. Like, and now, like, I would do anything to have that voice again.
Okay, now it's your turn to teach me.
What's so funny, Daisy?
Come back out with me later, okay? Say hi, Mom. Our goal here is to offer gender-affirming therapy.
There is a substantial body of research that shows these treatments
Treatment
work.
for gender dysphoria is proven to be life-saving medical care.
It really comes down to how
Fuck Detrans bullshit. I mean, it's not going to be good, that's for sure.
uncomfortable with their body parts.
Deciding to permanently alter the bodies
And do
of
they want to
children.
change those body
Permanently alter. Dude, they literally have to layer this like it's a fucking brainwashing thing. They're like, permanently alter. Ooh, mutilation. The penises. Think of the penises. I've seen this already, but Naomi, what? Most trans people do not transition until their late 20s. It's irrelevant. I mean, I think, like, a detransitioning person is also valid in their gender, but it doesn't, like, devalue a trans person's experience. Like, we accept that gender has fluidity to it, and so it's like, okay, here's the journey that you're on. You can have this. Most of the time, though, we find that detransitioning, people who detransition, which is a very slim minority of the people who go through any of these processes, like, that it's usually due not because they feel truly more comfortable detransitioning, it's that they have, like, a lot of social pressure on them from, like, shitty family and stuff. So
who's there for their detransitioning? Nobody.
Enough children have already been victimized by this barbaric pseudoscience.
Ridiculous.
My childhood was ruined. This needs to stop.
We have a serious problem. Go.
I had an alter ego, and he was like this boy that I like customized in my mind of like the ideal boy.
Reminder that detransitioners usually do so temporarily. And those that do it permanently, most still support trans people. True. Don't Prager guys perform circumcision on babies with no medical backing it? Yeah, for sure. Well, it's their religious rights or something, right?
Other girls looked so different than I did. They were, expressing themselves very differently.
Hey guys, so for today,
I was depressed, hopeless, and I was feeling pretty dejected and scared and alone. I didn't like life. Like, I just wanted to stay in my room all day.
I mean, I don't know what we're... Like, lots of kids feel alienation. I don't know. Is the thesis of this person's take gonna be that I don't think anyone should transition?
As you spiral into depression, it really feels like you're in a hole that is so infinitely deep, and the depression just was really debilitating in that I didn't really care about
self-worth, it's not a real thing.
This person still tweets about how she's trans, but is just repressing it for Christ? So, do you mean to tell me that religion once again intersects in a negative way when we talk about this? When will I be fully vindicated on the religious people are fucking insane thing? When do I get to take my victory lap that religious people are all fucking insane? Anybody? We ready? We ready for that part of society? When I'm right again? Or am I too far ahead of the curve on this one?
Improving myself because I already felt like I was just like I shouldn't have been born. Just having really like dark thoughts. I always just felt very much like there was just something wrong with me. And I was trying to figure it out. And I used the internet to help me do that. That's where I felt like I could diagnose myself.
Listen to this like fucking this urban grunge hip hop sort of like club secret music. Secret society music, like a vampire club.
My favorite websites were YouTube and Tumblr. It's such a huge amount of content that I consumed at that time. I mean, I watched a lot of trans people. I watched a lot of, gender transformation videos and saw these people really just like go from female to male visually. Like they looked like men. And I was like, whoa, I didn't even know that it was possible for a woman to pass as a man that well.
Dude, still seems excited about the prospect.
I hope you have a fantastic day.
Forrest Espion, thanks for the whole year. To counter the Detrans BS documentary, here's a positive trans man memes video. A whole memes video? Let me look at it.
Hey, what's up, folks? It is time.
Memes that give J.K. Rowling nightmares. Right. Everyone click on this and keep it in your tabs for later. For the good times.
It's really dark when
we're in the dark times right now, though.
Think about it, because the people who are consuming this are children, like 13, 14, 15 years old. And it's so easy for them to literally be groomed.
It's crazy that they call this grooming. Like, for other people to share their experience. That's grooming. They're happy? No. The thing that pisses Christians off the most, Christian right-wingers like this, is you being happy and sharing people like, hey, look, I did this thing and I'm very happy about this. Like, that's the worst thing you can do to them. So continue to live every day just as happy as you possibly can. And that's a W. Like, how does this even come to be, man? I don't see any trans content creators saying that you have to live this way. There's like memes about like forced feminizing. Do you think they take that shit seriously?
I just started looking into all of it. I was like, oh, so there's genderqueer, gender fluid, there's agender, there's like...
That's grooming, is you learning things? That's not what grooming is.
You can be a demi-girl, which is when you're like 90% girl, 10% not girl. Like, there's just...
Well, that's sort of a reductionist take on the demi thing, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We can scoot past it, chat. Scoot past it. No time for this one. Important question, is next Sunday AD the future? Which anti-trans video will be the reefer madness of anti-trans videos? I don't know. Can't tell you. There's always going to be a new one.
Just an infinite amount of ways that you can...
Depanator, I hate that. I hate that I read it in Mike Shinoda's fucking voice.
Interpret and express your own
name, right?
gender identity. And your gender identity is who you are, and nobody gets to take that away from you. So hearing that, I just became... very, very interested in having a male persona. Okay,
so that's totally fine. You can do that. Did you know? Hey, check it out. You could call it a persona if you want. You can dabble. I don't give a fuck. Do that. Sure. Is this extreme? Does it sound like I'm a man with extreme opinions on this? Sure, do whatever you want. I don't care. What am I going to care? That's what I mean, man. The religious people just can't let you live because they take it. They're like, You know, there's sins and stuff in their head, and there's like, Chad, there's no sins. You can do good things or bad things that positively or negatively affect your well-being or the well-being of others, but there's no scale at the end of this. There's no judgment at the end. There's no judgment now. Okay. I don't respect these people's opinion enough about anything to accept their judgment. Now, I realize that I'm not a person that at glance is judged quite often by these types. They're more focused on all the other minority groups before you get to me. But I think, just tell them to fuck off. There's no reason to respect it. We're all monkeys. They all eat and shit and poop, and shitting and pooping's the same thing. Actually, it's not the same thing. I would rather have a poop than take a shit. You know what I'm saying? I think you feel me on that. Sometimes, not every shit's good. I think every poop's nice, though. Anyway. That's real, right? Yeah, I agree. Anyway, respect them zero. They're monkeys. You're a monkey, too. Live your life. It doesn't matter at all. The only thing that matters is your well-being and happiness day to day. Literally day to day.
The more time I spent online, the more it felt like real life. And the more real it felt, which eventually led to me just fully transitioning.
Okay.
So I came out to my parents as Ollie, and,
Do you want to be a girl who poops or a bitch that shits? You be either. Both valid.
I went to this, I guess, behavioral mental health clinic for like 6 days. They had a meeting with my parents, and
just looking so sad every time we are in shots. Just so sad.
They basically told my parents that if you don't validate Oliver, if you don't validate him, then this is just going to get worse. The best thing that you can do to help him is to accept him.
Yeah. You could also ask questions, though. It's totally normal to be like, hey, so why do you feel this way? Like, especially from a parental role, I think your most important thing is to genuinely try to understand your child. It's more, your job as a parent is more than just blanket acceptance. Actually try to have the conversation and truly try to understand. That's your job, in my opinion, as a person who's supposed to love this human being. So you can help them with this conversation. But that said, you said what's her name? Fucking. Were you saying like Violet or some shit earlier? I don't remember.
As your son. But I already felt like...
That's why non-binary, gender fluid, and agender are helpful to help kids, adults explore. But also, they're totally valid that some people just, their whole life, that's how it is. So it's, totally fine. Gender is not one fucking thing, and we all know it. Even the cis people really, truly understand this when it comes down to it. Because when you have conversations about, okay, well, what does make a person... And they give you sort of Daisy. They give sort of half-assed bumper sticker. This is what a man is like. They're strong. They're stoic. It's not really. Every man's different. So I just don't respect their opinions on it, and you shouldn't either, because your gender is so much more nuanced than it matters for them to understand. It's just I don't know. Fuck them.
I wasn't what my mom had expected. And for me, transitioning was the closest I could come to killing myself without actually doing it. With all of these mental struggles that I was having, not knowing how to make sense of it on my own, and consuming so much of the trans narrative,
and just loving life.
Hearing people say this made me so much happier. This alleviated my pain. I wanted to alleviate my pain. I also didn't want to be who I was. So, with transitioning, I could do both of those things. I could alleviate my pain, and I can become someone else.
for sure.
I wanted to escape my own identity as Daisy.
My name is Ali Chadra, and
Is this the Up song?
this is my voice. One day before testosterone.
Is this the Up song? What is this song? They literally look happier in the old videos. I agree. I don't know. But they're very upset because of the detransitioning. Sad piano. Literally playing her own sad piano.
It has the juice?
Hey, chat. We are watching something super sad. Remember, no matter how you identify or who you are, your Uncle Gnome knows you're valid and supports you. You guys are corny, dude. You guys are corny little guys. You cute. What a bunch of cuties in chat. It's also wholesome. Corn gay.
That was really the beginning. I wasn't just playing around anymore. I wasn't just playing dress up anymore. Like, I was actually going to become a trans man and live my life that way.
And why is that appealing? Let's talk about that experience. Like, what do you want?
Culturally, we are Mexican, and men have to be very masculine in our culture. And I wasn't the most masculine growing up, and I think that had a part on everything that eventually led me to do what I did. It was around middle school. I was surfing YouTube one day, and a video popped up, male to female.
It's interesting to say, like, we have to be very, very masculine in this call. It's like, and they just glance over it, like, you know, we're not gonna talk about why that's fucked up, why we should maybe consider that that's not a good thing that you have to adhere to. Like, what about that just is inherently a good thing?
And that eventually planted the seeds of doubt. It allowed me to be caught by the ideology that eventually led me to hurt myself.
I too am randomly shown videos about transitioning without searching. Totally. Yeah.
Eventually,
literally, it's just they mean videos of trans people existing, and them seeing like trans joy, and it's like they get upset.
An answer to be given to me on who I was, and I went to see a therapist, and I had only asked, I think I might be trans, I don't know, I want to know. The therapist immediately on my first appointment with her said, yes, I am a transgender woman. She had my letter to transition the same appointment. After that, I just took everything slowly.
I've never heard someone get overnight clinical acceptance. Prove it. Prove it. A lot of X's to doubt in chat, looks like. Uh-oh. Chat disbelieves. No, in Mexico.
But eventually my father found out what I was doing. And due to our culture, he was not happy.
Okay. So the second example, okay, so the first example is a person who is detransitioning for Christ, and the second example is someone whose family is not supportive. The fuck?
And he took me to Mexico and had me have sexual relationship against my will with a prostitute.
That's okay. That's fucking crazy. That's the craziest shit. All right, so another example of right-wing cis Christian men being like rapists. This is disgusting. This is abuse. Hello, FBI, Child Services. Anybody? Yeah, this is absolutely fucking crazy. Why are they saying... This is in the... Why would they put this in their documentary? Why would they say, yes, the person who agrees with us abused their child? It's fucking crazy.
I was a 19-year-old kid, and my father told the prostitute, take good care of him, it's his first time.
Are they saying that's a good story? Are they endorsing that? A lot of fucking fellas and they're like, oh, that's a good dad right there. Fucking disgusting.
He was trying to prove that I was a man.
Kidnap for Christ vibes? Ugh. Yeah.
That broke me, obviously.
Go. It seems like this is a trauma response here. Yeah.
After that, I go back to the therapist and told her I wanted to transition. And she recommended I start my social and medical intervention as soon as I can. 11 months after I had started hormones, I was transferred to another medical professional who, after speaking with him for one time only, he approved me for surgery. And a few weeks after that session, I got 2 letters from my insurance approving me for surgery. But I was a little surprised that I received my letter for bottom surgery, which was...
This seems very fast, and I wish more trans people had access to this kind of healthcare. Where the fuck are you getting this healthcare? Fake even. Yeah, where are you getting this? Yeah. I need you to prove this shit. You barely get emergency services that quick. Right, they're just handing out fucking healthcare like it doesn't mean anything to them. Mexico does not have the greatest healthcare system in the world. Like, they're just making it, they're saying Mexico to make it sound sordid. It's like fucking... Was it just breast implants? No, they're saying bottom surgery. See my letter for bottom surgery?
Removal of my genitals without even asking.
Oh, so they got acceptance for that surgery, but they got breast implant surgery. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, it was just titties. All right, look, you can just get some titties.
My name is Ali Chadra. This is my voice pre-T. My name is Ali Chadra, and this is my voice 1 month on T.
2 days ago was my official 3 months on testosterone. This is my voice 4 months on T. It's probably not really a good thing that I was able to get my hormones so easily. I mean, anyone can go in there.
Already yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's suspicious for a child to say after being excited about that in the previous several videos. Huh. Just anyone.
Not only did they send me home with the hormones, but I actually did my very first shot right there in the doctor's office. And I was just euphoric, and it was real, and I was actually going to start seeing changes, and I was going to start passing, which
this is what the fuck? You're literally describing a good thing. What?
Basically meant that everyone around me was going to see me as a boy, an actual boy.
Yeah.
This feels good. This makes me happy. I'm actually feeling the feelings that, you know, all those like trans people online were saying that they felt.
I just want to say that I'm literally so happy with my test. It's so much better than I thought it would be.
Seemingly out of nowhere, we've suddenly seen a huge spike in media depictions and social media depictions.
Dude, they love showing young people with like going through this kind of like surgery. They love showing it. It's so interesting how much right-wing people specifically depict it. And they're like, ooh, look how fucking crazy it is. But it's like, it feels fetishizy.
of transgenderism. It's even reached the mainstream advertising world.
Wait until you see the data for this huge spike.
And I think this is all coming to a head and what this really means for our society. In case
are these people trans?
This is like the case of
they can't use products. Did you know that? That's actually true. Trans people can't use products, or it's gay or something. Product gay.
I think
it's
this is all coming
now. This person trans, I guess.
Into a head.
Selling bottles of stuff, can't have any bottles.
And what this really means for our society.
No bottles. That was a trans person. This is a trans person, I guess. I'm mad about this. Very mad about the strips. Is it the strips or the suds? Is it the suds? Maybe it's both the suds and the strips. I don't know how to beautify.
In cases like the case of Layla Jane, a young girl whose breasts were removed at age 13 by doctors who fed her a lie.
Take this next case. Layla Jane was born a girl.
Layla Jane experienced a host of medical issues in her youth. Her mother, who is bipolar, expressed to these
Okay, so let's just steel man this. Using an example of a family with like behavioral challenges, like they're going like when your caretaker has like a mental illness, and then you have a person who apparently is going through lots of mental illnesses, there's a chance that people could make decisions, right? There's also a chance that due to the fucking mom here, that person could have been talked out of transition by that figure when they were like for it. Now they're against it. This is a thing that can happen. Like, most people who experience this phenomenon, even no matter how serious, it's not Judge Janine Pirro, but it's like very close. They're just normal people that just want to live life. We need to get rid of religion. This is the problem. If they weren't religious, they wouldn't have nothing against this. If they just understood that we're humans, that we're animals that live on this land together. What is the point? I don't know one secular argument against this. It's so dumb.
Physicians and therapists that her daughter might be bipolar, but she actually never received any diagnosis or treatment for that. The family went to one physician who, after...
Sure, man, but you could be bipolar and trans. Like, both of these things can be true. But even if this was the case, even if you're like, oh, one got through, and then we took some titties, and that person didn't want their titties, actually. It's like, well... that's not a failure of other trans people that should have their fucking choices taken away for their bodies. Dumbass. Like, that's one specific situation. This isn't a fucking epidemic.
Less than a 2-hour appointment green-lighted the hormone therapy.
Fake. Shut up.
And in a similarly or even shorter period of time, a plastic surgeon signed off after one visit on removing her breasts. Like most young women who go down this path,
I do not believe... This is not the experience that trans people have when they are looking for this type of healthcare. Like, where the fuck did they go for this? Did they know a guy?
Of identifying transgenderism as the solution to their problems.
Transgenderism is the solution to their problems. Okay. Sometimes transition is the solution to their problem. But transgenderism isn't like a fucking thing.
Reinforced by irresponsible medical care providers. It's likely that if physicians had properly diagnosed all of the issues present in Layla Jane as a child, she would never have gone down this path.
When parents of trans-identified kids are referred to specialized gender clinics, they're often told that they're going to get comprehensive, multidisciplinary mental health assessments.
They never have appointment records. They never have any evidence.
We know that that's not true. In practice, these kids were put on a fast track to medical transition.
Layla is now 18 and is fighting back.
What is wrong with salami?
Thanks, last firstborn. Taking a trip to Lieville so we can lie on our lies and lie to others. Ooh. Sounds efficient.
This does not happen to anyone else.
My name is Prisha Mosley. I was a 15-year-old girl when the trans community found me, already diagnosed with multiple mental illnesses, including anorexia, a body dysmorphic disorder, and borderline personality disorder, a trauma disorder. I was easy to manipulate and convince that I had been born in the wrong body.
Sounds like someone who wants a little attention about these things, and now they're getting it. Great. Like we're prowling around snatching kids. Yeah. Trans community found you. Yeah, that's right. That's how they get you. That's how they get you. So it doesn't matter if you just like, I guess stop watching TikTok or whatever. I don't know. What made you feel so trans? YouTube videos with trans people being like, man, this is good. I'm liking this. People with BPD tend to have high identity issues, but that doesn't mean exploring your identity as a person with BPD is wrong. Of course.
I was told that this was the reason for all of my mental and emotional distress.
The gender specialist I was taken to.
By who?
Taken to see. Told my parents that I need to be put on puberty blocking drugs right away. They asked my parents a simple question. Would you rather have a dead daughter or a living transgender son?
Day.
Spider-Kowski, you want a dark puppy. Thank you very much.
This is the moment that we all became victims of so-called gender-affirming care.
But is this the document we're talking about? You needed this letter signed by a therapist to open up the door for you to get these medical treatment. Is this the document that we're talking about earlier?
Yes, it is.
And it took you how long to get this?
30 minutes.
Dude. How have any of you had a fucking super easy time getting any of this health care? It's a fear-mongering sizzle reel bullshit. I agree. It's definitely a collage. Documentary is this is the full documentary, by the way. Their whole 20-minute cut. That's how sorted this is. 20 minutes.
The ideology that has become dominant at these clinics is that trans kids know who they are, and therefore
it's just so sad. Even in the light of Christ,
question them, to ask basic therapeutic questions.
Oh, no.
Like, could your gender dysphoria or gender identity have been triggered by some other event in your life? Basic questions of screening are completely taboo in these circles.
I disagree. Therapy is all about these kinds of questions. Therapy is about, like, understanding who you are, man. Like, why do you feel like this is a pretty normal question that trans people get. Like, hey, what are you feeling? What's your experience? And they talk about their experience, and it just sounds like how do you not hear a trans person's story and think that's reasonable? It's almost the only thing therapy is even about, right?
But the truth is that parents don't have much of a choice in the matter. And doctors are
That's correct.
telling parents in front of their distressed children, if you don't consent to the use of puberty blockers and cross-sex hormones, your child is going to die by suicide.
That's probably an extreme response. I don't think most people are saying it like that. Most people are just handling it like professionals because doctors are people that don't want to be like fucking like sued. Source? No, you're not gonna have sources. You're gonna have this guy said that.
I believe that most doctors who practice gender-affirming medicine,
Gender dysphoria.
they genuinely, sincerely believe that they're doing good, but they're not.
Finland, Sweden, France, Norway, and the UK are reversing course and asking questions.
Have all not found enough medical evidence, psychological evidence to support
Christianity.
transgender therapy.
In the UK, their only national gender clinic for children shut down last year by court order. What
Every day, I want you to remember, we have infinite amounts of evidence to support the reality of, the trans experience and the validity of it, and 0 that their religion is true.
Doctors know that our doctors don't.
Part of the problem is that the current cohort of teenagers that are being transitioned under the affirmative protocol, which lacks guardrails, which takes kids at their word when they say I'm trans, which doesn't do proper mental health assessments. In fact, double mastectomies on teenage girls went up 13-fold between 2013 and 2020.
Oh my God. That's crazy. Right around the time that everyone decided to talk about this issue and be openly trans, and during a time of increased social support. Pretty wild.
Between 2016 and 2019 alone, these procedures went up by 500%. A study published in 2022 by researchers who are advocates of gender-affirming surgeries showed that the youngest patient to have received a radical bilateral mastectomy in the United States is 12 years old.
Damn. Literally 209 patients in 4 years. Jeez. The queer enlightenment, if you will. What was that for, though? Gender-affirming mastectomies, I guess. I don't know. But most people are not going to get this. Typically, you'll have to wait for breast development to happen before you can take them. You know what I mean? Otherwise, you would be doing just hormone. You'd just be doing like puberty blockers and shit. Age 12 mastectomy means there's likely some other medical issue. Yeah, I would assume so.
These kids are going to grow up and they're going to start to feel the full effects of their medical decisions. They're going to start to feel the side effects. If you really want to know whether amputating the breasts of a 12 or 13-year-old girl is ultimately...
Why are you showing a picture of a baby when you're talking about 12 or 13-year-olds? Isn't that interesting?
...in her best long-term interests, ask her when she's 30 or 40 and unable to breastfeed her own child.
You know, they've actually done studies, and there's like a 99% happiness rate with trans people, decades after their transition and stuff, like their surgery stuff. This has a higher happiness rate than like knee replacements. And of the people who are unhappy, a lot of it is not because they wanted to not transition. It's just because like, oh, my procedure could have been better. You know, like my mom preferred being alive to having a breast. Well, you know, that's different, right? Men care a lot about titties, you know, and having them. It's crazy to show a smiling person having a good time and enjoying the moment. Yeah, literally just happy.
I would go out into the world, and everyone's calling me Ollie. Everyone sees me as a guy. But then...
ask her when she cannot breastfeed her own child. That presupposes that the person wants kids, and two, many women can't breastfeed due to other reasons. Yeah, I agree.
At the end of the day, when I'm home,
they care so much about
in my
this
room,
shit. It's so weird. Quiverful.
Looking in the mirror, I'm like, what did I do? Like, I start getting these like really scary thoughts of like, you're incomplete. You're not a guy.
Wow. So some internalized transphobia, I see. Fascinating. Of course, this is just like, we're going to gloss over this. Yeah. No way of knowing why. How's your family feel?
You never will be. But even though you're legally, you know, your driver's license says you're a guy, you know you're not.
That is just such fucking that's just transphobic shit. Literally self-imposed transphobic. Come on, this is internalized.
You finally have expressed your...
I fucking disagree. I think if you want to be a guy, you can be one. You can be one of the boys. That's it. That's all it takes. You're one of the boys now. It really is that easy. I understand that, you know, people have like personal, like, I don't like this about my body or that. But like, we gotta stop being so fucking precious about this thing, man. Let people live. This boils my brain.
True inner self or whatever, the thing that you wanted to do so badly ever since you were like 13, 14 years old. You did this thing to alleviate this gender dysphoria, you know, that wasn't there before, but you made it into a problem, and now your body image issues are worse. That's not supposed to happen. What do we do now?
I just woke up one day, looked at myself in the mirror.
If you think that you're faking it, there's a good chance you're probably not.
And asked myself, what the heck am I doing? Because I realized no matter if I would have gone every
Just so
surgery,
sad every day.
continue with hormones, I realized I would have never been a woman. At best, I would have been a caricature of what I believed a woman was.
They both just say the same internalized bullshit, and they both come from right-wing religious families. Isn't that crazy?
Nobody would help me because they had more concerns of me reversing everything. I just socially detransitioned, got the implants removed. So I had technically developed gynecomastia. My chest is not like it used to be, and it never will. I have scarring, numbness, and unfortunately, my nipples are completely different. To put it lightly, it has been taking a major toll on me since I realized what I've done.
I mean, sometimes you got weird nipples. It's not a big deal. Who cares? It doesn't matter. Ugh. Did you know that if you hate your nipples and you're a cis man, you can get your nipples changed? You just got thick nipples. Hey, I don't think anyone's ever been like, damn. George Costanza would be like, the nipples are too weird. Is there a Seinfeld episode about the nipples being weird? That sounds like an episode. Man nipples are useless? Wow. I don't think men on average worry about their nipples, to be honest. Honestly, true. Honestly? A little dysphoric about that. You know, I was having similar thoughts if transition was wrong. I am not a man. Am I not a man? And I was like, dude, I don't need surgery to be a man. That's true. You don't. But also, I mean, if you want it, it's valid to seek it. You know, nothing wrong.
I was almost 5 years on testosterone. So if I had gone further, I wouldn't have been able to go back.
5 years on testosterone and had a baby, doesn't this go back against all the things you said about the irreversible changes of all these hormones and stuff? 5 fucking years, had a baby. Isn't that crazy? Damn, let's go. 5. Irreversible. I reversed it entirely.
When I found out I was pregnant, I was just over the moon. I mean, I was scared I was gonna have a doctor tell me that, like, sorry, you're infertile, and it would have been my fault. There are so many young people who are going through very similar things that I did and are still being told that transition will save them, and it's just not true.
Mm-hmm.
My story is tragic in some ways, but it's very redemptive in many ways.
Found Daisy saying everyone should be Catholic. Everyone should be Catholic. For the record, the PragerU documentary focuses mainly on the transgender medicalization. I didn't say this in the feature, but I do not think there's a single person, whether they're 8 years old or 80 years, who should medically transition. I don't think there's a person in the world who should medically transition. Also, everyone should become Catholic. Yeah. Cool.
That cannot be said.
Another one? All right, last one. I don't want people to think that just because I've detransitioned, this is this person right here. Let me make it bigger. I don't want people to think that just because I've detransitioned and chosen a more traditional path, I am now cured. I still deal with self-loathing. I'm still sick of being me. I'm still depressed. I'm still miserable, wretched sinner. The mental ailments that led me to this. Many detrans people still struggling with dysphoria. This is not new or uncommon for me. What? Of course you struggle with dysphoria. For me, that dysphoria looks like occasional gender envy. When I see other men, it is extremely mild and manageable for me. It doesn't mean I'm suppressing my... Oh my God. The mental issues that I was referring to here that plague me are still general feelings of depression and self-loathing. They don't have anything to do with my being a woman. In high school, the opposite gender fantasies were much more intense. I used to cross-dress in private, become very excited, not in a sexual way, more so indulging in pure vanity at the idea of being a boy. I don't do that anymore, nor do I have any desire. It's so interesting how even in the full self-denial, it's like, but it wasn't sexual. It didn't have anything to do with sexuality. It was about me. In a deeper way. Many have misunderstood these tweets on fine with being a woman. Any discomfort I do feel about my body has to do with the damage that was done through transitioning. I love being pregnant. I love the way my body becomes more feminine when I am pregnant. I like to doll myself up. I miss my breasts horribly. Any dysphoria is fleeting and very superficial. So literally it happens. You could be a guy and you could be pregnant and stuff. You could also doll yourself up and be a guy. You can have breasts and be a guy. Yeah, I don't... Like, actually so fucking broken in the brain. I'm gonna follow.
For many detransitioners. And that's just heartbreaking. Like, I can't imagine living with that.
I can't imagine denying that part of you that wants to just live free. Like, you still literally fucking deal with this.
Like, I can't imagine what it would be like to regret a bottom surgery. Or, to...
What would it be like to not regret it?
To be infertile. Because when you were a little child, like 12, you
can also have a vagina and be a dude. It doesn't matter.
Parents were manipulated into putting you, like, blocking your puberty.
Being so young, I was so impressionable. I was told so many times, it's possible that you're trans, that eventually I started to believe it.
Unfortunately, transition made things worse for me.
It has just kind of wrecked my perception of myself, and I feel like I missed out on like 3 years of my life. I missed out on 3 years of living my teenage girlhood.
I didn't realize that there were women like me who were different.
So a lot of this has to do with people not understanding that they can express gender in a way that runs counter to how, like, the expectation is. Like, you could also be like, it doesn't sound like they even have the ability to talk about the concept. They're so locked into this binary experience. You got to be all the way fucking in. And it's like, maybe you're just not.
Oh. Here's the deal. I'm detransitioning. It's true. It's not a joke.
I understand now that I can be a cis woman again. I haven't gone too far. I haven't passed the point of no return. I can live as a woman again.
I was something because people were reacting to me, but it was a me that wasn't really me, so I was protected. I was protecting myself with the trans label.
These pediatric...
Every time they start talking about this, it sounds like they're trying to convince themselves. Isn't it strange how they are focusing only on women? How they are obsessed with little girls' breasts and genitalia? Oh, yeah. And then when it's an adult trans woman, they're very focused on dick.
Pediatric clinics that perform these surgeries, they will do nothing to...
Oh, fucking Jesus Christ. The most normal person you could possibly get to talk about this. Ollie fucking London.
help these teens if they decide to detransition. There's nothing
Total
you can do.
grift.
You know, once you've taken all those hormones, Billy, your body is changed beyond repair.
You don't have to remove your body parts.
So it's just me, or do they really feel like the only real reason that Daisy and this other person whose name I'm not remembering right now because I'm high only detransition because their families are horrible? Yeah, no, that's it. You got it right.
To make you complete.
Thanks for the biddies.
When I transitioned, my suicidal ideation did not go away.
Transition is not the only answer, and there are many detransitioners like me out there.
My name is Camille Kiefel.
My name is Emily. My name is Laura Becker.
My name is Abel Garcia, and I am a detransitioner.
Abel.
My name is Daisy, and I am a woman.
Seemed really convinced. That was the whole thing? Wow. Very compelling stuff. So PragerU's Scumbag University, once again hitting you with the just least compelling detransitioner stuff out there. If you are a trans person, you are valid. If you feel like you are gender fluid or something, that's cool too. Like, you can just be gender nonconforming. Maybe you don't need to dive all the way into some other binary. We can also discuss that. But like, this doesn't sound like the case. It sounds like the people we had here really wanted to do this thing, look currently miserable, and were traumatized by their families. Shocker. And of course, the religions they live amongst